So up next, we have 3 student workers in various fields at the university who will talk a little bit about how this crisis has affected their research and their work on campus. So I'd like to start with Maya.
Hi, my name is Maya Anjadicic. I'm a 5th-year PhD student in applied physics, and I'm currently a research assistant, and I've also been a teaching fellow. And so to start with, a number of groups in physics and the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences have turned their focus to COVID-19 related work. And so these groups are applying their expertise in new ways to try to address the current crisis. And so these efforts include sort of new experimental research, providing assistance to healthcare workers, and just in general working on education and outreach. And so we're really proud of people that are stepping up and helping sort of in any way possible outside of their comfort zone to help deal with evolving challenges from the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it's also true that many of us have had to stop doing our typical research, either because we've had to leave campus or because being sort of experimental scientists were unable to access lab facilities and other required equipment. And so most research groups have transitioned to remote work, which really creates this difficulty and uncertainty for many people. And it means that a lot of work, like I said, really isn't possible anymore. And so added issues to that are kind of the challenges of working from home, which include, needing particular resources to even be able to have Zoom calls or continue working with your colleagues. And then added to that is sort of these issues of childcare, healthcare, family leave, and balancing a whole new type of workload along with the added stress of being at home and having these additional responsibilities. And so overall, people are worried about what this means for funding, whether that has a set expiration date, whether they'll be able to continue to be funded for sort of next year or the years after, for research progress and sort of what it means to put these projects on hold for months or years and how that affects graduation times and being able to have sort of stability in their PhD progression. And so really what this has highlighted is that across Harvard, there are actually no guarantees for another year of funding in most instances. And a lot of things are sort of being handled on a case-by-case basis, which means there's a huge amount of uncertainty, and planning for the next year and beyond is very difficult and stressful for some people. And so a union contract would really provide stability in this really uncertain time. And our union, we've been certified for 2 years and we've sort of waited long enough, and now it's time for that.
Thank you, Maya. Up next, we have Nate.
Yeah, hi, my name is Nate Brown. I'm a third-year PhD candidate here at Harvard in the history department, as well as being currently privileged to be the head teaching fellow for the course, The War in Vietnam, which I recommend to everyone, just on the side note. But yes, as Maya was saying, there's a great deal of uncertainty and instability, and that's certainly been the case with the social scientists and humanities scholars that I speak with on a semi-regular basis here. So I want to start off with a message to the administration as a personal note, a Nate Brown message, so to speak, to the administration of GSAS or the Faculty of Arts and Science, should anyone be watching, which is, I understand that you have a bottom line and that the university is in deeply uncertain financial times. But this pandemic has fundamentally disrupted the professional trajectories of graduate scholars in the social sciences and humanities. I would not be here speaking up today amid such widespread suffering if we didn't need help. We need bridge funding to produce scholarship that we as professionals and Harvard as an institution can be proud of. Next year would have been my archival research year. As a historian, that's one of the centerpieces of our discipline. But I've already received notice that my research funding has been delayed through 2020 and maybe canceled outright if pandemic conditions persist. Even if it isn't totally canceled, the archive, the interlocutors, the interviewees that are crucial to my project are closed or unavailable, which makes any document requests or preparations completely impossible. These widespread closures mean that during research funding time that is funded by universities or external foundations, it'll just be spent getting the preliminaries taken care of. And really there's not enough material that's going to be generated to really write a dissertation that is worthy kind of the time that we're being allocated. So the Harvard administration has created an artificial cutoff for our funding at 5 years. And after that point, many of us no longer can find work and see significant pay cuts, even if we are able to secure work. In the midst of a pandemic, it guarantees that entire cohorts will be delayed at least a year. That means we'll be forced to live on less, with less security, while doing the same work as everyone else. We're asking for Harvard to provide the same protections that other workforces have, which is provide stability in an uncertain time. Unfortunately, in recent communications from the administration, they've indicated they have no intention of guaranteeing pay for everyone next year. That is unacceptable. What we need is a year of bridge funding to guarantee that all students can complete research without having to scramble to make ends meet. Yale has come out, guaranteeing support for its graduate students. We know that Harvard can too. And on a final note, I just want to reiterate everything that my colleagues have brilliantly stated, which is that we need a contract. Now, Harvard has to step up and bargain in good faith with us. We wouldn't be facing this massive uncertainty if we had a contract that guaranteed our ability to conduct our research, to just do our jobs without fear for financial instability. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. And up next we have Shireen.
Hi everyone, my name is Shireen Hamza and I'm a 5th year in the History of Science department at Harvard. I've been a research assistant and a teaching fellow. And as more advanced PhD students who are approaching the end of our programs, many of us are no longer guaranteed teaching positions to support ourselves. So in addition, we have to also pay thousands of dollars in healthcare and facilities fees after the 5th year of our doctoral programs. And this means that delays in our research are really costly. Harvard has not yet provided any financial support for us to address this kind of contingency in our funding in general or in response to COVID-19. Additionally, many of us need to travel for our research, and like Nate, I would be traveling for archival research and speaking with scholars in India, the region that I study. I'm facing major research delays and can no longer access a Fulbright grant, which would have provided a stipend for me to live on at this time, but is contingent on my being in India. Again, Harvard has done nothing concrete to address students in my situation who had found external funding, but which is no longer accessible. COVID-19, I think everyone here can sense this, it doesn't impact everyone equally. And the students who are already the most vulnerable, who may not have had safety nets or family to rely on, who may have dependents, these are the folks who are hardest hit right now. The administration has framed the GSAS emergency fund in a way as to imply that it's exceptional to be experiencing hardship and need help right now. And this is a fundamentally different kind of framework than a contract would provide. Likewise, over the past 2 years, I've been reading updates from our bargaining committee members telling us that Harvard has consistently refused to include civil rights protections in our contract, including the ability to file a grievance for harassment and discrimination. This adds another layer of vulnerability to the insult of dismissing our advocacy to address our financial concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Shireen. Thank you to all of the students and student workers who have shared their experiences. We also have some recorded testimonials and some anonymous statements from other student workers that we will share if there's time today, and otherwise we'll make available to members of the press afterwards.